Rocks for a pillow, cold ground for a bed, gray sky for a blanket, cardboard for a bed. They are the homeless. Now here's some news. One day it could be me or you. Downtrodden, Lord, how must feel. People staring at you like you're not real. They are the homeless. Now here's some news. One day it might be me or you.
It's inconceivable that in a province with so much wealth, that so many people are living in poverty. But that's the grim reality for thousands of women, men, and children in Hamilton. Some live without heat, others without food or medication, and too many without even a roof over their heads. Poverty is an unacceptable human condition. It's a political choice, and it constitutes the most significant health risk faced by a society. My name is Laura Hampshire, and our story features the people who we seldom hear from but need to listen to. They're almost never seen as part of the solution, and yet their lived experiences, ideas, and advice are fundamental to achieving the real and lasting change needed, not just to reduce poverty, but to eradicate it.
It's just crazy, the things that they do that you just think, it's the last straw, but then it's not the last straw. There's another straw that's going to hit you again. And there's just one thing after another that wears you down and wears you down and wears you down until you just are so depressed and so just hanging on by your fingernails.
Right now you've got Ontario Works, Canada Pension, ODSP, disability, and unemployment. Okay? I challenge you within the next 6 weeks. Try and do anything involving all four of those agencies at the same time. I challenge you. You won't be able to.
We need to take care of our children. We need to feed our children. And all we're asking for is a chance to do that. Poverty is bad everywhere.
Wearing people down, stripping them of any dignity, making it as difficult as possible for people to get out of poverty. These are the results of political choices being made every day by all levels of government. Yet funding announcements like this one receive a lot of coverage and good press. The problem is they're short-term, not long-term solutions. They never address the systemic and economic issues, the very ones that would transform the lives of people living in poverty.
It's a comedy.
Oh, I know exactly what you're saying.
It's a comedy.
All I see is like people getting caught. Like this guy's in a sea of paperwork here. You know? It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming for people. Now, isn't there, like I've dealt with some government agencies, mostly EI and Ontario Works, and I seem to come up against this bureaucracy too, that you get caught in this sea of red tape and you can't seem to move forward. Isn't there anywhere, is there not an Ontario ombudsman or something that you can actually get stuff moving for yourself? Like, I mean, this is like, I mean, when you have no income, I mean, you're slipping lower and lower. I mean, this guy, he has no money.
Now I'm in the Salvation Army, and Salvation Army give you 2 weeks to support me. So my 2 weeks is up. So now I'm completely homeless.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So now I have to go see a psychiatrist because he have to tell me why I'm not sleeping for 4 or 5 days.
And this is what you mentioned before. It's a cycle, right?
And they push you to the edge, and the guy is crazy. Sure, you make him crazy. You know what I'm saying?
If anybody ran a business that way, you'd be out of business in a hurry. You know. But is there no way is there not an ear for people that will listen and to speed up, you know, before you end up homeless?
Downtrodden, Lord, how must feel.
Hamilton's poverty rate is 20%. That's 1 in every 5 people. And it's getting worse, not better. In fact, there are enough people living in poverty in Hamilton to fill Cops Coliseum 5 times over. Homelessness is the worst consequence of poverty. In Hamilton, on any given night, almost 4,000 people do not have a place to call home. The waiting list for subsidized housing is 3 to 5 years. And every month, there are more than 15,000 visits to city food banks. This is Hamilton, Ontario, a place where every minute of every day, almost 100,000 real people experience the disastrous effects of poverty, deciding between food or the medication they need to keep them alive, moving every few months to escape dangerous housing and escalating rents, and perhaps, most important of all, losing hope.
Myself being a parent, there is nothing worse knowing that you can't feed your child. Trying to be the best parent that you can be, and knowing that your child's gone to bed hungry, knowing that there'll be no breakfast in the mornings, it rips my heart out. Sorry. We are not getting what we need in order to feed our children. Do we pay a bill, or do we go groceries? Most of the time, my bills are either behind or they don't get paid because I have to feed my child. I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul, and it's not fair. It's not fair.
It's not fair what's happening to children and women, and I'm seeing those problems every day, regularly. I'm working on a difficult case. A client of mine who got her paycheck and blocked by Ontario Work this month. The reason was because she has to go to school. Ontario Work told her to go to school, and she has 6 kids. 3 of them are small, so she can't go to school and leave them at home. They told her to put them in daycare, but she couldn't find a daycare which is close to her home. So she was still looking for the daycare, but her check was blocked because she didn't go to school. So I'm working on that case for 2 weeks now. But the problem is every time I call, they don't answer. Ontario Work doesn't answer the phone. I have to leave a message, and they answer in 24 hours. After 24 hours, I might not be in the office, so they leave a message for me. When I come and listen to the message, I have to leave another message, which will take 24 hours again. So we were sending a telephone back and forth, and the client is still suffering without money, without food for 6 kids, and without paying the rent. So now she doesn't have any other option, either to go out of the apartment and live in the streets or go to a shelter, which is also not a good thing for 6 kids and a mom. 259. Thank you and have a nice day. So I think instead of paying the daycare, why don't Ontario Work pay good money to the mom and let the mom stay home and raise her kids?
Sociálku beru přibližně 1200. Z toho platím 775 nájem, jako bydlení. No a to málo, co mi zbyde, to je z obtíží fakt na to vyžití, abych měl co dát dětem jíst. A je to velice těžké, protože nezbývá dětem koupit nic na sebe.
It all has to come down to money and shelter. I live off of $206 a month. Now, living off of $206, that does not give me my rent. That, you know, I'm a recovering addict, and I've asked them for help. I've been looking. I had to do this on myself with no treatment, We're not society, because when I did ask them, they wanted to send me 13 hours out of Hamilton just to go for my treatment for 6 months.
Poverty has become an issue that we look at with a great high sense of morality, judging other people as being less than, other than, and therefore being entitled to differential treatment, not to have the same respect, not to have the same kinds of dreams and hopes and values that everybody else in the society holds on to. This is the biggest lie of all. People who are living in poverty are not different than, they just happen not to be having any money. They happen to be poor, but they are due the same kind of respect. And we hear it over and over again, that when you treat people with dignity and respect, then people respond to you with dignity and respect. When you build things for people to be a part of a community, they join in as members, as opposed to ousting people where they feel like total outcasts all the time. It's a moral adjustment that needs to be made as much as an economic adjustment, a political adjustment. It is also a moral judgment in how we think as a society and how we look at people who don't have the same income and also not the same opportunity as others do.
It's all to punish the family. If you want to raise a child on assistance and have them go to school, it's very difficult. I have 3 daughters, and you're trying to get them through university so that they can get a good job. And the government makes it so hard for my kids to go to school. When they were in secondary school, their earnings were exempt. Now, I have the daughter going to university and now college, and everything she makes I have to report to the ODSP office, and they take half of what she earns off my check. This is really difficult because we have a $6,400 tuition bill to Mohawk. Plus my daughter has the book costs, transportation to Brantford every day to a little building downtown. They don't even have a ride there. And I have to every month gather up her pay slip. She's working part-time because they insist that as a dependent adult she has to work too. And yet they take off half her money. I found out that I get $227 a month for my one daughter living at home, and they would take more than that off me a month. All they need to do is change one word in their policy directive so that post-secondary are exempt from the earnings. It doesn't make sense that a high school student can earn money for free when they're not paying any bills. And yet the student that is paying the bills isn't allowed to earn any money for free. And then the extra problems is that if someone is in subsidized housing and the kids are working and going to school, then their rent might go up because now the earnings from the children, even though they're going to the university or college, are considered extra money to the family, and there goes their rent. So maybe they might work under the table, some of these kids, and then they're not protected by the health and safety rules. All these, there's a great ramifications from this.
Like education, housing presents the same frustrations. Where is the affordable housing? And why won't the city enforce its own bylaws to ensure low-income tenants don't have to cope with substandard conditions?
The housing that I spoke about that my daughter finally got, the low rental housing, geared to income. There's been stabbings in the halls and in the elevators. There's my grandchildren wake up to sirens all the time, fire alarms. The police have been there numerous times. They go out into the hall to go to school, and there's blood in the hall and in the elevators. People have gone to the bathroom in the elevators. It's just, if they're going to have low rental housing, it should be the same quality of housing as everybody else gets. It shouldn't be a place where you're afraid to live.
I put him on the access to housing list, so he should only have another 10 years or so to wait. Not funny, but...
That's not funny, but I understand. Yeah. Access to housing is a difficult wait. I mean, some people have waited up to 2 to 3 years just for an apartment, right?
Oh, 2 to 3 years if you're a homeless single mother, maybe. But as an adult male living on his own, yeah, he has a long, long time to wait. So even though he's homeless, I fill out an homeless application for him. It'll still take him about 5 years.
Isn't there some sort of emergency status? Isn't there some sort of status where we might be able to at least bypass this list of some sort?
That was a homeless status. He has homeless status, and there's if you're fleeing abuse. He's not fleeing abuse, no, but he is homeless. So
that's the only status you could get him under.
Yeah.
Wow.
But there's at least 300 people in the shelter right now that are also homeless.
Yeah.
So I'd like to talk a little about Ms. Jones. and her family.
Oh, the bed bugs issue, yeah.
Bed bugs, that's right.
Okay.
So she came in last Friday. Her youngest child has eczema.
Yeah.
Which is being made a lot worse by the bed bugs in the apartment.
Of course, that's...
So they've made multiple complaints to the landlord. The landlord has come in multiple times to spray.
Wow.
They've gotten rid of their belongings multiple times, and still the bed bugs keep coming back.
Wow, what is the landlord doing about the actual, the state of the apartment that they're renting?
Well, I think they painted over the wallpaper.
Oh my goodness. Bed bugs live underneath the wallpaper, right? They can survive in one place up until a year, I believe, or something like that, without nourishment and stuff, and can still come back?
Yeah. To get into the shelter, they had to get rid of everything, even the clothes that was on their back.
So then how are they going to be able to go back to the apartment or continue without clothing?
They can't go back to the apartment. The smallest child has been hospitalized twice because of the interaction with his allergies and the bed bugs and the eczema. When I saw him on Friday, his eyes were swollen shut and he had open rashes all over his body and face.
You know, that's not adequate. We can't put human beings in a place that's infested with bed bugs.
I don't know how the landlord does it.
Yeah.
We've got to do what we can now. So I don't want them. They can't go back to that apartment.
No.
That child is at severe risk.
That's another thing with poverty. Once you're poor, you have many more health problems. It's an automatic thing. You're not getting the nutrients you need. You're not getting everything that you need. Like the bare necessities you don't receive, and you get sick from that.
I was never on drugs until a year and a half ago. Never touched a pill, not even an aspirin. Now I'm up to $200 a month on prescribed drugs because of the mental issues that poverty has brought on. You know, and the poverty wasn't, I worked 40 years. And then all of a sudden one thing just all collapsed.
I waited 2 months to get a doctor. And the one I found is far away, it's like in Burlington, and I have to see a specialist. And to go see him, I missed the timing, and the guy gonna charge you $40 or $50 because you missed it.
Don't got the money to go.
You don't pay me the day you don't show up, you're off. You're not my patient anymore.
And then you
have to wait 2 months to be interviewed. I'm not getting a job. I'm sick. I'm not gonna make it in 2 months. One day I'm late, and the doctor say, "Hey, I charge you $40 because you don't show up."
Ontario Works goes, they'll give you medical transportation to go see your doctor, but then when you go and ask them to give me the help to get to my doctor's appointment or to go to a treatment center, they sit there and say, "Oh, we don't have enough money to do that. Oh, you got to show me some kind of proof that you got a doctor's." Well, if you want proof, I have to go out of town to get it. You got to, that's why I'm asking you for help.
Help. Real help. Real change. People's lived realities are getting worse, not better. Our question is a simple one. How many voices will it take to make change? How many people? How many stories before the federal, provincial, and municipal governments take long overdue action?
I'm on a fixed income. My rent is $600 a month. I can barely make ends meet. You know, it has to stop. This is where it has to stop.
The powers that be need to look at day-to-day living for those living in poverty, looking at affordable, decent housing, looking at having enough money for proper nutrition, looking at special needs diets, looking at transportation needs for people. These are all real things that everybody faces every day. I would like to challenge the powers that be to live on an OW and an ODSP budget for 6 months. Then you tell me how you can do any better than I do.
Oftentimes people talk about reducing poverty, that to set targets to reduce poverty over a period of time, have a certain number, a certain percentage of the population, or particular focus. For example, a population focus. Maybe we'll focus on women, maybe we'll focus on children. But it doesn't give a whole picture, and it doesn't cause us to move to action that would eradicate poverty. The goal must be loftier than the action. The goal must be higher than the action. And so therefore the goal has to be the eradication of poverty. Is that possible? Absolutely, it's possible. With political will, with constant action forward, with a never-ceasing, never-relenting attitude until we reach that target, not only can we do that, we absolutely must do it.
Rocks for a pillow, cold ground for a bed, gray sky for a blanket, cardboard for a bed. They are the homeless. Now here's some news. One day it could be me or you. Downtrodden, Lord, how must feel. People staring at you like you're not real. They are the homeless. Now here's some news. One day it might be me or you. Hard rocks for a pillow, cold ground for a bed, gray sky's the only blanket, and you're sleeping on a cardboard bed. Well, it's up to me, it's up to you. Tell the politicians what to do. Fight for the homeless, don't be ashamed. One day it could be me.
No correlation between why he's here and why I'm here. There's no correlation between him and me at all. The story's so completely and totally different. You're looking for something to hang your hat on all the time. It's because we haven't got money. That's all there is to it.